AC Assassin's Creed game apparently is coming out this year. From what they showcased at E3, I sort of feel that the game itself is, I say, it's a little bit more of a step back. What I liked about Assassin's Creed 4 was that it changed up the gameplay style. You always running around on the city in horseback, and from what I understand about ACU, Assassin's Creed Unity, if you want to not use abbreviations for it. From what they showed is, it seems like the game is going to be more geared towards you, running around on land than you actually sailing, because from what I've seen, what they showed at E3 is that it's during the French Revolution, a big part of, selling France's independence between, the peasants and, the nobility. And it seems that Ubisoft had fixed some of the stuff, like when it comes to free running. I see that, from what I can tell, is that you don't really generally need like haystacks or like stacked up items and stuff to get on top of buildings. It seems like the new assassin of this game is able to jump on walls and sort of parkour his way up to certain ledges and everything else. And from what I also noticed from the game is they seem to put in a lot more interaction into the game, for you to step in. From what I know from Assassin's Creed games, there was never really much of a morale system in these games, so I don't really see so much of a point of some of these interactions. I don't really see a point of adding them in if it's not going to affect your overall morale. You're still going to be known as an assassin throughout the whole entire game, and that's not going to change. From what another thing Ubisoft has said, that people won't be able to counter in fights anymore and take down a bunch of enemies at once. According to them, they say that you're gonna have to use like a heavy swing, a light swing. You can't just counter every enemy. And they tried to do that back in AC4. Like certain enemies you couldn't counter, some you had to dodge before you actually had to sit up and swing at them. But still, overall, you still relied on the counters and get you out of a lot of situations. Now it seems that they try to up the stealth in this game, because from what I know from AC4, when it came to stealth, it was very bad. Like, it was just horrible, and they seemed like they didn't try to put no effort into fixing it in AC4. But it looks like in Assassin's Creed Unity, it looks like they took some time to actually put in the cover system like the you would use in Splinter Cell games, and I could say that's a positive. They shouldn't have had that early on, especially if the game is about stealth. And once you have an assassin game that doesn't really show stealth, then it really turns down people, because they expect that you should be able to hide from a certain enemy and not be caught like in previous AC games. When you had to stay stealthy away from the enemy and you got caught on some bogus crap and you were nowhere inside of the enemy. It seems like with this new cover-based system, it's to help fix it. From what I seen, what they brought into this game again, when I looked at like how you can bring up all the icons on the map, I sort of felt like that was a little bit unnecessary. I understand they want to show more people map awareness, but I think that's a little bit more hand holding. It wouldn't really kill players to sit up and hit the back button on their controller and look where exactly they want to go in the world. I really don't think that's so much of a positive. I think that's like I said before, it's much of hand holding, and developers have been doing that nowadays. They've been making stuff easy for gamers, because there's a lot of more casual gamers that play games nowadays instead of veterans. And I know that they're trying to expand the Assassin's Creed world. They made a couple of buildings open for you to walk into. They tried to do that back in AC3, where you could be running and then you could run through like a person's household mid-chase and then duck out the window on the other side. I noticed that that's a lot in Assassin's Creed Unity, but it's like, I hope the free run system that they said that they fixed in this one works. But I'm not really so much sold on Assassin's Creed Unity because so much is that I get sick and tired of just always running around in a city. It's like when it's AC4, I love to sail on a ship because I could go to any of the one settlements within the world, and I didn't feel so restricted to one place. And it seems like they're trying to go back to that in Unity. They're trying to restrict us to one place, and the one place is Paris. And I don't really see how sailing is going to be much of an aspect when they put so much time and effort into developing NPCs to act more like the people during the French Revolution, the art style within the series to make it look more of this traditional French Revolution state. I don't really see any much time and effort really been put into the sailing part. Now I know they haven't shown it yet, but I'm just saying from the scope of what we've seen at E3 with Unity, more of the resources were poured towards making the city feel like a city back during that day of age. And I feel that when it comes to the sailing part that they said that's included in the game, it's going to be really less of that, and then you can tell that they didn't really put too much stuff into it. But that's how I feel about Assassin's Creed 4. Tell me how you guys feel in the comments below. Hope you enjoyed this video. It's also I'm planning on releasing a couple more videos talking more about what I saw at E3 and what I plan. Well, not what I plan, on how I felt about them. And be sure to check your inboxes soon. Peace.